I had been working so hard to figure out what I wanted to feature, what I just wanted to find something that would like resonated with my soul. Like I knew what I wanted to do and I knew what I wanted people's reactions to be to it. I didn't know what it was. And so I was working so hard. And I think sometimes we get into that almost information overload, where I was trying so many different things and really I just needed to get quiet.
Hey, authentic influencers. Oh my goodness. I am so excited for this interview today with Amber Dorton. She is someone who I just adore and have loved watching her whole journey because she has totally changed where she's at from where she was a year ago. So I am so excited for her to come on and tell just her story to you guys and to be an example and really an inspiration because you totally are an inspiration, Amber.
Oh, you're so sweet.
So I would love for you to just kind of tell your story, where you were at, because you were in network marketing and things weren't working real well, kind of where you were at and what you have done to be the success that you are now.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to go back a little bit for the network marketing,
go for it.
Just to kind of give everybody an idea of exactly like how bad my mindset really was. In fact, if you go back to, 2008, 2009, when the recession hit the United States and everybody was losing their jobs, my husband and I both ended up losing our jobs at that time. The employer that I worked for had their own company and the recession destroyed it. And so therefore I ended up unemployed. I was 4 months pregnant and I was just like, what am I going to do? Because nobody was going to hire the pregnant girl because they knew in a few months she was going to be going on leave. And so I just really struggled to figure out what I was going to do. And then my husband lost his job. Well, he ended up finding a good job. And so I kind of floundered for a little while and said, you know what, I need to figure out something I can do from home. And so I've always been good at baking. And so I kind of fell back on what I knew. And so I sort of started just getting on YouTube and looking at different things and discovered that, or didn't discover, I just kind of was intrigued by the fact that maybe I could do some cake decorating. And so I took a little class at Michael's, the craft store. And I believe it was even a free class because we didn't have any money then. And I think I just had to buy my tools or something. And so what I discovered was that I really was good at it. Like it came really naturally to me. And I remember the instructor was like, are you sure you've never decorated cakes before? And I was like, I swear I haven't, because my work was just really good. It just came naturally to me. And so I ended up doing a little business from home, making cakes and decorating cakes. And I got good enough to do wedding cakes. And so that held us over for a few years. It was something that I really enjoyed and loved. And it just gave me that creative outlet that I've always enjoyed. So then when my son was about 4, we were like, you know what? He needs to start getting a little bit of socialization. He's going to be going into kindergarten soon. I really need to, the cake decorating was great, but I really needed some consistent income coming in. And so I went and worked as a preschool teacher. And the perk of that was that if I worked there, my son could go there, without being charged. And so it was kind of like the best of both worlds. And so what happened with that was the job itself. There were so many things I loved about the job. I loved doing the arts and crafts with the kids and I loved the kids and I loved the parents, but the job itself was extremely hard. I had lost my dad back in 2011. And right after that, I developed a chronic fatigue and pain. And so I was extremely tired all the time, extremely fatigued, just always in pain, and pushing myself and pushing myself and pushing myself. And I thought, this cannot be the rest of my life. Like, I can't do this. And so I decided to go to school. I was like, I need to get some kind of career because we cannot make it on $10 an hour for the rest of my life. This isn't working. We're living paycheck to paycheck, and one little thing, one little hiccup, a flat tire or a medical bill would take us months to recuperate from that. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I went back to school, and the flexibility of the job at the time was great for that. But what I found was that it was really, really, really hard. And I never really saw myself as anything in particular. I hated that question when I was a kid. What do you want to be when you grow up? I never really knew what I wanted. And it always made me feel really bad about myself. Like there was something wrong with me because I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And so because of the experience I had at the preschool, I thought, well, I'll go to school to be a teacher. It'll give me all the benefits I need. I'll have summers off with my son, all the perks that, it seems to be. But the more I did it, the deeper I got into it, the more I realized this really wasn't what I wanted. I felt so trapped because I had now invested in all this money into school and, debt. And what am I going to do now? I didn't have the courage to say, this isn't really what I want to do now. And I remember being on the phone with my mom one night and I hit a wall. I was completely just exhausted and felt so trapped. It makes me choked up to think about it because I was praying so hard for a way out and I didn't know what the answer was. I didn't know what I could do to get out of this position, And the next day I got a phone call from a friend that I had worked with in administration years ago. I was her assistant in an office. And she said she worked in a school and she had worked there for like 30 plus years. And she's like, I can't think of anybody else for this job. Like, I don't know why, I just can't think. And so I felt like it was a God thing. Like this was the answer to my prayer. She literally handed me everything that I was going to school for on a silver platter. I was going to have the money, I was going to have the benefits, and life got better. I took the job. I was really good at it. I loved everybody I worked with. The downside was that it was a really long commute. So I was out of the house 11 plus hours a day. Like I was out of the house by 6:15 in the morning and I didn't get home until 5 o'clock or after. There was always the stress of getting to my son if he got sick because he was over an hour away. There was just all these things. We were paying for childcare. It was just, there were a lot of perks of having a job because we were able to like increase our credit score and get out of debt and like all these things. Like life was comfortable, but I wasn't really happy. I actually worked for someone who made me feel really, really bad about myself. She was just one of those people that was always going to find the negative. And so I would go to work every day with this knot in my stomach and be like, as much as I loved certain aspects of my job, I felt horrible about myself. Like I became more and more insecure and I hated the person I was turning. So I started missing an outlet, that creative outlet. I had a little more time, a little more comfort now working this job. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And so I joined this direct sales company that was amazing and wasn't intending to do anything full time. I just needed that community. I needed that, the girl time and just something creative for myself outside of my 9 to 5. And what I discovered was in order to make this work, I was going to have to work on my mindset. I had been in a marriage years and years ago that was very abusive and got out of it, but I never did the mindset work. I never repaired all those insecurities and everything that I had. So I was carrying a lot of that with me and pretty much just kind of ignoring it. And so I discovered that on these long commutes, I could start listening to audiobooks and I could start listening to podcasts. And so I got the book by Mel Robbins, The 5-Second Rule. Mm-hmm. And that really was the beginning of my healing and building my mindset and getting into a better place. One of the biggest things I think turned things around for me is she taught me the importance of a morning routine and kind of waking up a little earlier and doing some journaling and doing some mindset work, some, being a little more positive and started to really change things. Like I found myself in like the best frame of mind by the time I got to work every day, just from this little adjustment and just not hitting that snooze button, And so she started to plant these little seeds. Here I am, I'm 40 years old. I was in a job that I felt stuck in. I really did. Because this was the job that saved. But I found myself becoming more and more miserable and riddled with self-doubt. And I hated it. I hated it so much. And so here I am in this direct sales company and it's amazing. And I'm seeing all these women like doing these incredible things. And here Mel's telling me that I can dream and I can, do more with my life if I really want to, but I didn't think that would happen. That's for other people, And so I decided that I was going to try to make this a go. I didn't dare tell anyone that I dreamed of working from home because I don't know. I think I just really was afraid people were going to see that as me being lazy, she just wants to work from home. Like, I don't know. I just felt like it was my own belief. I was putting that on myself. Nobody was saying that to me, but it was just something that I kept to myself, like this little dream I was starting to have this desire for, and it was a party-based business and I'm still a part of it, but I don't really focus on this one anymore as much. But all the scripts and all the things that they were telling us made me feel disgusting. And it's not that they were bad scripts. It's not that they didn't work for them. I just remember feeling like I just can't keep doing this. And I knew that I wasn't going to succeed in a business because it's a party-based business unless I had. And so I started looking up attraction marketing and trying to find a different way to do this that would make me feel less icky. And I came across you, Brooke. I will never forget the day that I read that post and I was just like, she is talking to me. She knows what my thoughts are. Like, it was amazing. And so I booked a call. I think it was in January last year because I spoke to Hope. Mm-hmm. And at the time, here I am working this job that is eating up every minute of my life. I mean, I really didn't even have time to even clean my own house. Like I was gone all day long. And then you have a kid with homework and all the responsibilities that come with life. And so I talked to her and I was like, I know this is what I need to do. I just knew it in my gut. I knew that this was the program I wanted to do. But we both talked and we both realized that I wasn't going to have the time to invest in this program. I think that was the one at the time that you started advertising about the IPOR, in pursuit of recruits, maybe program. And so she said, well, maybe. She asked me about my schedule and I said, well, I work at a school in the summertime. My hours are like way less. I mean, I still had to work. It was a private school, but I was going to have way less hours and, an extra day off a week. I'll have time then. So we kind of agreed to maybe like touch base again and in the summer. Then COVID happened. In March of 2020, everything, as we know, the whole world came to a stop. And I've got a little extra time now, though, because we were sent home. And at the time, we thought we had a good month at home. We didn't know it was going to turn into what we thought it was going to turn into. And so I booked another call and I got Louise. And she, you guys, is amazing. She's become a good friend of mine. I love her very much. She really, really believed in me, made me believe that this was something I could really do. And I was like, I have the time. And I remember my heart racing because I didn't want to invest that kind of money, on myself, on a gamble, but I just had this feeling, Brooke. I just had this feeling in my stomach that like, this is what I need to do. This is the path I need to be on. And so I said yes. And my life has just been amazing since. There's been a lot of work. Anybody that tells you direct sales, network marketing you can just do this easily, buy your kit and you're going to make all this money. No, I don't think people realize how much mindset work actually goes into it. Mm-hmm. Doing your program and having the mentor and having the coaching, and it really helped me figure out what I wanted. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't have that clarity, and I wouldn't have had that clarity if it weren't for you and your programs. And so I started to see some increasing in my direct sales and whatnot, but the program was going well. But then in May, I lost my job. I got a phone call one afternoon and they said, the school, we don't know if it's going to make it. And my world just crashed because this was the job. This was the job that, was going to take me through retirement. This was the job that was going to save us. And it was gone within a matter of minutes. And I felt really scared because I still wasn't 100% on doing parties. I still didn't feel right to me. I kept trying to find different ways of doing things that felt more authentic to me. And I just couldn't find my groove. And so I got a message from a friend that said, you know what? I think you need to check out this direct sales company. I think it's right up your alley. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. Like, I just lost my job. But I knew, like, without a doubt, without trying the products or anything, that this was for me. I didn't even know it existed, or I would have been doing it already, And so I posted on my social media the day I lost my job. I was like, I'm going to fall back on what I know best, and I am going to bake. I am going to bake until and so I started baking cookies like crazy, and I earned the money for my little starter kit, and I jumped in feet first. And I wouldn't have had that confidence to do that if it had not been for your program. I was in the middle of the program actually when I did all of it. And so then I started questioning, like, what was this really the right direct sales company for me? The first one that I was in. And I realized that the party thing just wasn't me. It just wasn't for me. And this company that I'm with now, that I partner with now, I don't have to do that. Like, there's so many different avenues I can go with it that I've been able to just take it and run. In the summertime, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was one of the posts that you did. I'm trying to remember what it was about exactly, but it made me kind of face one of my fears. I've always wanted an Etsy shop. I didn't know what I wanted in there. I just knew that I like to make beautiful things and or try to make beautiful things. And, I've always been I've always been an entrepreneur from the time I was a child. Even when I was a teenager, I would make jewelry and sell it. And that was before social media and all that made it so much easier to get it out there. I decided, I think it was in July, when I was doing one of our High Five Lives. I was like, I did it, you guys, I did it. I opened an Etsy shop. There's 3 things in there. I don't know what's going to happen, but here we go. I had been working so hard to figure out what I wanted to feature. I just wanted to find something that would resonated with my soul. Like, I knew what I wanted to do and I knew what I wanted people's reactions to be to it. I didn't know what it was. And so I was working so hard. And I think sometimes we get into that almost information overload, where I was trying so many different things. And really, I just needed to get quiet. And I was sitting here at my desk one day and I looked over And I saw my little jar of shells and I thought, and not that painting shells is anything new in the world, but I was able to do it in such a way that I was putting things on there that meant something to me. As soon as I posted my first one on social media, within like an hour, and had people asking for more. And so the next thing you know, like I'm getting all of these request. And out of nowhere, by November and December, I replaced my income. Like it was incredible. And that was just for my Etsy shop. That wasn't even like my direct sales. And so it just to get to the point where like I felt like I had the courage even, or the self-belief, because I really feel like my journey has been one of self-doubt to self-belief. Like I went from, I mean, I could go on, but the insecurities that I have overcome. I mean, if you would ever told me that I was going to be on your podcast, Brooke, I would have just said, you're insane. That's never going to happen. The biggest thing I think I learned from you is that you said, if it scares you, lean in. If it scares you, there's something to that. And every single time I do something that terrifies me, I never regret it.
Mm-hmm.
I never regret it. I always learn something from it, even if it doesn't go perfectly as planned or whatever. But I just find that the more I do that's outside of my comfort zone, and I always loved your illustration of it being in a bubble and how you're not necessarily like, you're just stretching it out a little bit. You're stretching it out. And then the next thing you know, you've encompassed that thing that used to be outside of your comfort zone. You just stretch a little bit more. And that is exactly what has happened to me this last year. Like every single time I did something that was a little outside of my comfort zone, like going live used to terrify me. I mean, I would shake and sweat. And then when I'd be done, I would shake for 30 minutes after. Like, that is no joke. That's how much it scared me. And then one day it just didn't bother me anymore. And I was like, what was I so afraid of? I had expanded my comfort zone. I can't thank you enough for that, because, you know, you listen to these podcasts. Like I had become addicted to your podcast. Like once I realized that I was like, I need to do something on this commute because I am miserable. I am so like angry all the time at the crazy drivers and all these things, and started listening to audiobooks and podcasts and realized that I was home before I knew it. And I was learning something, but I was doing it on the way there, on the way back. I'd get home and I'd put Brooke on again. And because you spoke to me, you really, really spoke to me. And you've just helped me so much. And I just want people to, so much, I want them to just believe in themselves. Just try, just one step at a time. It is not going to happen overnight. I was so close to giving up in like August, September, because I had worked so hard. And I mean, you think about it, it's like, well, Amber, it wasn't even a year yet. And you were ready to give up, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I was trying to discover like what it was I really wanted. And it should be an easy question to answer, but it's not. Mm-hmm. It's not. It wasn't for me. And I just want, with all of my heart, for people to know that, like, if you're listening to this and you think, I will never be there, that was me. That was me a year ago. I was in the car listening to Brooke and thinking, I don't know, but I just had this feeling. I knew there was something more for me, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And your programs and all this beautiful free value that you give everyone, like it really, really, it helped. And if you're willing to do the work, if you're really willing to dig deep, because you gotta open up that closet of skeletons and face it, you know, like I had to dust off some gnarly stuff, and it was hard, but man, it's behind me now, you know. And I just feel like now I just feel amazing. Like it's a beautiful thing to all of a sudden be getting complete strangers ordering from you, and you're like, I don't know this person, like this is so exciting, how did they find me? And, you know, and it's just it was the best feeling in the world. And then to top it off, I would get these messages in my inbox, and it would be, you don't understand, like, this is so beautiful. My daughter's going to love this. Or I even had one reach out to me, and she was like, my daughter just had a miscarriage, and this is just, I really think it's going to just make her so happy, and just things like that. And I thought, this is what I wanted. Like, I wanted to be able to use my creativity in a way that, I mean, I'm not the most artistic person in the world. I mean, there's a lot more talented people than me, but being creative is what gets me up every day. It keeps me up at night, and being able to tap into that and actually make some income from it, like, it's been life-changing. It really has. I mean, you have changed my life. This program has changed my life. And I want people who are listening to just be brave for that minute. Just do it, because it does work. It does work. And like I said, if I had given up in like September, I wouldn't have gotten all those beautiful inbox messages. I mean, like, these were complete strangers reaching out to me and telling me how much my artwork meant to them, and my team started to grow in my direct sales company, because just that confidence started to happen. I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. And as long as I implement what I've learned and make it my own and make it authentic to me, because as much as I loved the product that I started off with in the beginning of 2020, it wasn't quite enough. I needed more. And I found it. And I wouldn't have had I not said yes to Louise that day. I remember like getting so nervous because I was taking way too long to answer. And she was so calm. And she knew. She was like, you can do this. This is what you need. This is exactly what you need. And had I said no, I don't even want to think of where I would be right now. I might be in another 9-to-5 that was draining my soul, so that's my journey.
That's so amazing. And when you were talking, like, I imagine what we do is like, we walk around with like all of these like coats on us, right? And it's blocking us from becoming the person that we really are truly meant to be. And when we start stripping those away, we start seeing who we really are. And like the biggest thing that like I look at your journey and everything is that there are so many people now that you get to serve that if you weren't brave enough to step out of your comfort zone, like where would that girl who had a miscarriage be without you? And that is the thing that like, that's the thing that I'm going to do this no matter if it's scary. I'm going to I'll be brave for that person,
Yes. It was, it did something to me. I was crying a lot in like December because I couldn't believe it was actually happening, and it was in such a way that filled every part of me up. Like my cup was overflowing, joy and appreciation and like all the things that I had hoped for and dreamed about, and it was happening and doing something I really love. Like it wasn't something I wake up every day and I'm miserable about. I mean, I might have days where I don't really want to work, discipline, right? But man, I've come a long way. And I know that it's because of social tenacity. I mean, absolutely. I mean, having you guys as my cheerleaders it's been life-changing. Well,
it's been such an honor to be part of your journey. And I just love watching you grow and everything because that's my favorite part of all of this, because it's hard sometimes to see people and you can see the so much potential. And really it's just, you got to get out of your own way and just let it happen. And it always is like, right when you feel like you're going to quit, that you're like right on the brinks of like something amazing.
Mm-hmm. I was so close. I could just feel it, but it was so frustrating because I figure it out. And then, like I said, if you just take a minute and get quiet, it all just kind of like I had that aha moment, that Oprah talks about. And I was like, oh, it was right there all along. And it was the simplest thing. It was right there, but I had to take a lot of coats off to get there. I definitely did. Yeah. And it's not over. I have a lot to learn and I'm excited. I'm excited about it. And I don't have so much doubt in the back of my mind telling me I can't. Like I said, every time I do that one thing that terrifies me, I never regret it.
Oh, so much. So Amber, if there are people who want to reach out to you and find more about you, where's the best place for them to find you?
I am on Facebook and Instagram the most. They can find me. My profile on Facebook is Amber Copdorton, but if they want my business page, it's called Joined at Heart, and it's Joined at Heart across the board. Like if you want to find me on Pinterest, if you want to find me on Instagram, if you want to find my business page on Facebook, it's all Joined at Heart.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. You have been such an inspiration, and I know that you're going to inspire so many people that are listening.
Oh, thank you, Brooke.